Good afternoon, friends.
Recording in progress.
For our special counseling session organized by the Board of Studies. I am Aparna Chauhan, a faculty at Board of Studies looking after the paper Direct Tax Laws and International Taxation. Hope, friends, that you all are doing well and preparing hardly for your exams, working hard for your exams going to come in May 22. Taking care of health properly, taking care of your things properly, engaged fully in your examination. So, students, as you are going to appear for May 22 examination, they are reaching very soon to you. I must say that I just want to advise you that this is the time for you to do your revision. Whatever you have prepared till that time, that's fine. Now this is the time to do your revisions properly. And for that purpose, what you have to do? You have to first of all take care of your health. Don't take unnecessary of stress that you are going to appear for your exams. अभी मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है MTP किया but questions achieve नहीं हो रहे हैं, answers नहीं आ रहे हैं, write नहीं हो पा रहा है, confusions हैं. Don't take any stress for it. If you have prepared properly, you have practiced the things properly, then definitely you are going to do well in your examination. You all know that healthy mind stays in a healthy body. So now this is the time to take care of your health as well properly. If you are healthy, then you will definitely going to perform well. अब तो आपने whatever you have prepared. Now this is the time to take care of health and revise the things what you have done. You must have prepared your summary notes, you have practiced the things, you have highlighted the important portions while practicing or while revising your things. Now revise those things again and again. It will help you to recall those provisions during the examination. So one thing I would like to tell you that whatever time you are doing your studies, that's fine. But during that time, in 24 hours time, take out some time to do some exercises as well, which will make you fit and relieve your stress level, right? It will give you relaxation. Try to at least after doing 1 hour study or 2 hour study, you can do some kind of, home chanting or do some breathing exercise. They will definitely going to provide you relief or give relaxation from your stressful day and night, right? So you do those things. After doing a continuous study of 2 hours, give 5 minutes or do some breathing exercises. This is the thing that stress level, you have to maintain your stress levels in control. That, that thing you have to also apply while appearing for your exams. At the time of examination, what happens next, friends? When you see your paper, you feel कि oh my god, this provisions तो मुझे याद ही नहीं आ रहा है, तो मैंने किया ही नहीं था. I have not done it properly. या मैंने देखा ही नहीं था. So don't unnecessarily panic at that time. This is the time of performance. Whatever you have planned, whatever you have done for your studies, now the examination time, that 3 hours duration, is the time where you have to perform. So don't get panic during that time. I must say time management is very crucial thing during the examination period. For that purpose, our Board of Studies give you the MTPs, mock test paper, so that you can check assess your level of preparedness, or you can manage your time as you are going to do in your examination. So you got 15 minutes time for reading purpose. Utilize that time properly. Go through the paper, right? And choose, after going through the paper properly, give one reading, so fastly for the whole paper, select out the topics, select out the questions which you feel that you are very confident that these are the questions which you know very well. Attempt those questions first. What happens now? The first impression is the last impression, right? So whatever you do at the initial of the paper, initial answer sheet आपकी जो दिखेगी ना, that will give a better impression on the checker. So it has an impression on his mind that yeah, this person knows the provisions, knows the things very well, and he has presented very well. So आगे भी हो ना, you will get the marks later on also. But please make sure While choosing a question, suppose there are 3 parts in a particular question, you are confident, you know the question number 5 is the one that you know very well. Attempt it, no issues, but there are 3 parts. अगर आपको suppose C part नहीं आते properly, you don't know the C part properly, आपको you are not able to recall, you are not able to integrate the things, you are not able to apply the provision how this has to be answered. Don't do that time. Leave the space, but do all the parts at one go only in continuation of question number 5. Don't do the parts here and there unnecessary, right? Try to do all the parts at one place. In case you don't know that part, leave that space, right? At the end of after finishing your whole paper, come again to that part, and that time you solve it. छोड़ के मत आना. Try to do, don't leave anything. Try to do everything. At the end moment, maybe if you want to at least I am able to recall कि यहाँ पे like TDS question है that I am able to recall the section 194 and it's applicable. You know the provision, what is the provision exactly, but you are not able to apply in the situation in which given. या उसी को explanation लगे जो आपको you are not able to remember it properly. So write down at least that provision. You know that paper 7 also comprises of 30% is your case scenario based paper. MCQ based paper, right? And 70% is a descriptive portion. So this 30% is such paper now you can get the marks properly. This is the paper where you need not to present your answer. The manner of presentation does not matter in case of your objective type paper. So you have to arrive at the answer. But definitely you have to again make a point that whatever your option you are choosing or arriving, read all the options properly, right? Read all the options properly. While checking that option in the OMR sheet, please circle that one which is the correct one, which you have been chosen for being selected is the correct, which you feel that is the correct answer. No negative marking is there in your objective paper. So do it all the things. Don't leave anything. जो आ रहे हैं, again revisit the things. आप इस तरीके से manage your time in such a manner that you will get some time after revisiting also for the objective type paper. Whatever you feel, what you have to do first, you can choose on your own self. I am comfortable in doing more. You take more time in doing descriptive portion, so I will do descriptive portion first. If you feel objective is much easier for me, then you do objective. Whatever you feel, you will select. It's your own choice. But the thing is, if you are choosing the objective paper, you know that 30% is objective paper, right? You got 180 minutes. 180 minutes, 30% is 54 minutes. Don't use whole 54 minutes time for doing the objective one. Try to wind up this objective type paper in 40 minutes. एक बार you must solve it properly. उसके बाद you just try to finish it in within 40 minutes. If आपको लग रहा है 45 minutes हो गए, leave that. Go to your descriptive one. After doing your descriptive one, if you have the time, please go to again your objective paper. क्योंकि वहाँ पे you check that you have marked properly the OMR sheet or not. This is the thing you have to manage your time. Allot the time as per the marks requirement of the question. आपको एक क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छे से आता है, then you need not to engage yourself fully for that question only. You have to be that question also has to be solved within that time frame for which that marks are being given, right? So you should solve all the questions before taking giving you those kinds of tips. I just want to request you. I just want to ask you people that how many of you, please through the query link, you can answer me properly. You can answer me that how many of you have attempted the MTP in the manner as you are going to attempt during your examination. How many of you have done it? Actually, MTP we give you MTP for that purpose that it's a demo paper that you are appearing in your examination. Time management, definitely you will learn how to you are going to utilize the 3 hours time during the examination by practicing the MTP. So how many of you have attempted it? Please answer me. Before meanwhile I am going to give you my give you suggestions for many queries, some general queries. Then we are going to take the MTP questions. Specifically today I am here to discuss the MTP MCQ based question, because for that reasoning is not given. You are also not supposed to give the reasoning in your working notes in your examination. So we are going to discuss those, that what is the manner to arrive at the answers. It's not like that. See, MCQ, whether it's an MCQ based paper or it's a descriptive paper, anything it is based on the same provision of law. The benefit in the MCQ is that you need not to present anything. You need not to give the manner in which you are using for arriving at the answer. While in case of descriptive, you have to present the things, you have to write everything properly in a particular manner, right? With a substantiate everything with a particular full proper working notes. Here, you need not to give anything. So, while doing your objective paper, you do. So we are going here. We are going to give you the manner how we are going to arrive at the end conclusion. Check your things that you also have done in the similar manner, or you have arrived at in other way. So that manner will help you. The manner, what I'm going to tell you today, will help you in making your things better for performing the descriptive paper as well. In case of any doubt in your descriptive paper, you may raise me, or you can also write to us on ask your query on our viewers mobile app, or through our mail ID also you can write to us. So before taking to the technical things, that what are the things which you have to remember, right? Those things now I'm going to tell you. You just compare things. This session will also help you out with revising certain concepts. The MTP is based on the 100 marks. I mean that there are 2 series of MTP being released. So many provisions have been covered here. So at least you are able to revise those provisions. So this session will definitely going to help you in that manner. Let me see how many of you answer that. Let me see, anybody reply me that how many of you attempted the MTP? Sumit Jain. Okay, Sumit Jain is asking a query that how to revise DT before exam day. What should be the strategy? See, Sumit, one thing you note down, DT is such a vast paper, definitely it's a very vast paper, and it's dynamic too. So, for that purpose now, I suggest the students to make your summary notes, or do the practice from the whatever be the material, whatever the resources we are providing you. There are certain illustrations given in your study mat. There are the questions given in the study mat, or we provide you the booklet on MCQ based and question scenario booklet also to you. So you have to practice from that. One important thing I majorly noting it, that what students do actually. What we do actually, we are comfortable, doing the reading the question. What we do now, we read करते question को, ठीक है? We read the questions और simultaneously we read the answer also, और अपने mind में frame कर लेते कि यार this question has to be answered in this manner, और आपको लगता है कि हाँ जो मैं सोच रहा था, what I am thinking now, that is written here also. So उस case में क्या होता है ना, when you are supposed to write that thing in your exams now, that time you find कि you are not able to recall, you are missing out certain small points at the time of examination. So for that purpose now, what I suggest to the student, don't ever read the questions. You have sufficient time for preparation. So try to make your own summary notes. Highlight, solve your questions on your own way, in your own handwriting, solve it properly. After solving it take your pen or paper and solve it. Then compare your answers with the answers given in the study mat or the RTP or the MTP, whatever it is, right? Don't read it. When you do it now, then you will find out where are you lacking. At that time, immediately highlight that portions. Note down, yeah, I missed that point. I missed this thing. Like for example, in case of TDS, what is happening? If a person is not furnishing the time, the TDS has to be deducted at a higher rate, right? So higher rate is 20%, but in case of 194O and 194Q, it is 5% higher rate. So at that time when you are solving the question, you are not able. If you forgot that thing you can mark in your while solving the question. So before appearing for the examination, what you can do, you go through those summary notes, go through those highlighted portions in your study map. You can do that, but don't take unnecessary of stress. You will do well. If you are prepared well, then definitely you are going to do well also. That time of examination is just to revise the things once if it's possible. Take proper sleep, take proper food, take care of your health. Or exam time and don't get panic. अगर आपको कोई question नहीं आता, if you are not able to answer any question, you don't able to recall the question, then don't unnecessarily get panic. अब whatever आप जब when you start doing ना, आपको लगेगा यार now I am able to do it. तो उस टाइम आप कर लोगे. बट आप स्टार्टिंग में इनिशियली अगर आप if you started taking stress तो बहुत difficult हो जाएगा. Then it will make difficult for you to complete the paper, to recall the things properly. So don't get panic to see the things. Revise it. Take proper sleep. Take care of your health. Or you are only the people who knows how much you have prepared. If you are prepared well, then you are definitely going to do also. So this is the thing. Srinidhi Sriram is saying, yeah, very good, Srinidhi, that you have done the MTP in the branch itself. That's very good. So you know how to manage the times. I must say, if you are not able to do and go to the branch also, like due to the COVID issues, the COVID problems, you can download it yourself. You can do it you are the right person, you cannot cheat yourself. You download it, you do it within that examination condition, you should go do it, right? So you can do it. It will help you to manage the time. You can assess your preparedness, how much you are prepared. So this is the thing. Sumit is asking, I got 55 marks in December attempt. What to do get more marks? You got a good marks, Sumit. I must say that 55 marks is good thing. If you feel कि आपने देखा होगा, you have seen the suggested answer posted on the portal. So you have seen that, and please note down where you have been missed out. Where are the things you have gone wrong? So this is the best thing. You can compare your whatever you have done in your examination, compare with the suggested answer, right? Note down the points where you have been gone wrong. So in that way, you can get the more good answers. Try to make the presentation more comprehensive with the proper, substantiate the things with the working notes. Assumption, since taxation is a subject which tend to get the assumption based. There are certain things it's not necessarily being given in the examination, but certain assumption also has to be made. So those kinds of assumption, if you are making any assumption, if a clear-cut information is not given in the examination, then you should write that assumption properly in your that assumption clearly in your answer sheet. Right? This is the way you can get good marks. You should revise the things properly before the examination. Now, for November examination, for November students, I must say you have proper time, you have sufficient time to get your preparations well in advance. So try to make your own summary notes, practice all the questions given in the study map. Again, I am telling you, solve it, taking your pen and paper and solve it properly in your paper. Then after solving it, compare it with the answer given in the publication. So after comparison, you will come to know where are the points, where are you lacking. Highlight those points immediately when I'm there. They will help you at the time of revising the things before the day of your examination. So you can do this thing, make your summary notes. Now, some queries I want to take you specifically before moving to our MTP series 1. I don't know why you are the final level students. I don't know. We got to receive such queries now. Ki ma'am, no stat update is there for May 22 examination, and no judicial update is there for 22 examination. Absolutely, there is no. So no amendments are there for May 22 examination. Seriously, is it possible? Your assessment year keeps on changing. year-wise. For May attempt and November attempt, the assessment year is same. The Income Tax Act, as amended by one of the Finance Act, is relevant for both the attempts. There are huge number of amendments are being brought through your Finance Act only, right? So those amendments are very much relevant for you. In a stat update, what you are going to get in a stat update, in case of some legislative amendments brought in, those amendments after your 30th of April or after whatever be the date, the printing of the your study material, those updates, circulars and notification only are come out through those stat update. And judicial update. This time, we have already incorporated the circulars and notification issued till 31st of October 2021 in your study material. The study material edition is October 21 edition. Specifically for direct taxes paper, I will advise you don't study from the past study materials, because there are certain amendments being taken out made by the Finance Act 2021. So the Income Tax Act, as amended by the Finance Act 21, is relevant for May 22 and November 22 examination, right? For November 22 also I am saying. So study mat is same. The relevant study material is October 21 edition of final paper 7 is relevant for you. It is updated in accordance with the Income Tax Act as amended by the Finance Act 21, and the circulars and notification issued up to 31st of October 21. The amendments made prior to 6 months of your examination are relevant for a particular examination. So for May 22 examination, the amendment take place till 31st of October 21 are relevant. Of judicial update also, the significant select cases are also incorporated in your study material at the end of the chapter, right? So no separate stat update and judicial update are issued for May 22 examination. But for November 22 examination, we are going to give you the stat update, right? The stat update is not your substitution for your study material. That stat update has to be read, the study material has to be read along with the stat update, right? So the stat update for November 22 examinations is going to cover the notifications or circulars issued on or after 1st of November 21 till 30th of April 22. Okay, and judicial update as well you are going to get for the November exams. So this is the part that what publication have to refer to. There are many amendments taken place. So kindly purchase. For November student may already been all students must have purchased the new study map. For November, if you have not, please purchase a new one and do from there on. MCQ booklet also being revised, updated in accordance with the amendments made by the Finance Act 21 as well as the circulars notification. So the booklet on MCQs and questionnaire booklet, January 22 edition is relevant for you. So kindly practice from these publications only. For each attempt, May 22 RTP already been given to you. So May 22 RTP and November students. So you note the November 22 examination students. Kindly prepare from the, you can do the MTP which are uploaded, which are web hosted, which are given for the May 22 examination also. You can prepare from those MTP also. RTP also you can prepare. You can solve the RTP also, RTP questions also which are being issued for May 22 examination. Since the same assessment year, same amendments are being applicable for the November exam except for the 6 months notification and circulars, right? So this is the thing regarding your relevant assessment year. What are the viewers publication to the red bit? That I have already told you how to prepare, how to self-study effectively, attain your conceptual clarity. For that purpose, you have to study each and every chapter properly, prepare short summary, solve each and every question. After solving it, compare with the answer given in the study mat. Follow the presentation given in your publication, like in suggested answer publication. Follow that presentation. You can follow the presentation given in your study mat as well. right? Those things you can do. This is about thing. Now I think I should take you to the MTP, Series 1 MTP. I think most of you have already been attempted that MTP, and you have also got the answers. Also, you have checked it. But here I'm again telling you how you have to arrive at the answers. What is the manner of arriving at the answer? If you see these things, you will able to revise those concepts again. So this session is definitely going to help you in revising those certain concepts which are being dealt in the MTP. Those are very important also. So first of all, let me take you through the first series of MTP, the case scenario 1. You already have that case scenario. I'm not going to read this case scenario. One tip I want to give you for doing your paper for relating to case scenario based MCQ. What is happening now? When first start reading that case scenario, आप start करो, read करो, but read it only fastly. Don't make any kind of assumption कि किस type of question, which type of questions are being, which type of questions are given in your based on this case scenario. Don't unnecessarily waste your time. Read it immediately fastly, and then come to the answers, questions, because the main requirements are given in the question. Right? Reading that case scenario, आपको लगेगा पता नहीं, oh my god, this is on that provision. But हो सकते हैं questions easy हो. Questions are not that difficult. So give a glance reading to that case scenario immediately. Then read करना है. You should read it, right? You should not skip it. Read it properly. So first MCQ. Let me read the first MCQ for you. You already have it. Take that again before you, right? Which of the first MCQ is which of the following statements is correct with respect to concessional tax regime under the Income Tax Act? There are certain statements are given. This case scenario is based on the provisions of section 115 BAA or 115 BAB, right? In the first question, they are asking you, you have to choose the correct statement. There are certain statements are given relating to in respect of concessional tax regime. You know that concession tax regime means the tax rates are liberal than the existing rates. They are giving you certain concession in the tax rates. Two sections are there, 115 BAA, 115 BAB. Okay. Now, frankly speaking, when these sections are being introduced, I really each time I got confused. What is the BAB, BA? कैसे याद रखना है कि rate एक 15% एक 22% है. There are certain condition to BAB. There are not that condition given to section 115 BAA. तो ये section का remember कैसे रखना है कि मतलब ये BA relates to this give concession to these companies, or BAB is this 15% वाला section है, and this 115 BA is for 22% वाला section. एक trick, that is my trick. You can also use that trick if you find that it's confusing these sections. This is section 115 BA, alphabetical order. You see BA पहले आया, BA alphabetically, BA comes first, then afterward BAB comes, right? So BAB आया बाद में, and BAB is for the new companies also. जो companies बाद में आई, ठीक है? Those only can avail the BAB section, are eligible. Existing company can also take the existing company cannot take the BAB, but after setup हुआ है companies का, those only are eligible for BAB. BAE already existing company can take the benefit. New also come under BAA. If they are not eligible for BAB, then they can take the benefit of BAA. So BAA already exist companies. BAB for the new setup, right? बाद में आया, बाद वाली company, existing company BAA. BAB is more beneficial since the tax rate is lesser than the BAA. It's 15%. More concessional rate is given to section BAA. While in case of BAA, 22% is given. You know that for in case of domestic companies, if the turnover for the previous year 1920, if the turnover for the previous year previous year 2019-20 you have to see, right? Does not exceed, if the does not exceed 400, right? 400 crore. Then they are eligible for 25%. Okay? So 25% के लिए eligible है, and BA is providing 22%. Okay? For companies having higher turnover, have to pay tax at the rate of 30%. Domestic companies I am talking about. BA provides 15% concession. And when you are opting for these sections also, you need not to pay MAT also. As per the normal provision, there are possibility, as per the normal provisions, you need your tax liability is lower, but as per MAT, the tax liability can be high. Then you have to pay as per in accordance with the MAT, 18.5%. 15%. Now it's 15%. 15% rate has to be paid. Here you need not to comply with the MAT thing if you are availing this concession tax ratio. Right? So 22% BA 115. BAA provides for 22% rate and BAB provides for 15%. Right? Before this question is just key, which companies are eligible. There are two companies given in the case scenario, Siva Limited and Yatra Limited. Certain information are given for relating to those companies also in the case scenario. So this question is for checking the eligibility for whether they can opt for concession tax regimes or not. This question is based on that. First of all, that BAB, read these two sections very, very thoroughly. Read each and every point, very important, right? For the purpose of tax planning, they are very important sections. Read each and every line. Don't miss out any single line in these sections. Right? They can caught you. The paper set can caught you anywhere. So read it thoroughly. There are certain things which are very, tricky also in these sections. Like eligibility. First of all, I'm talking about the eligibility criteria. What is the eligibility criteria for eligible for opting for these sections? BAB. BAB 15% concession. It's a more restricted section. It puts more conditions. While BAA provides for 22% rate, it is liberal also. Only domestic companies. First of all, only domestic companies can opt for both these sections. But again, there is a demarcation. The manufacturing companies and electricity generating companies can only opt for, only are eligible for 115 BAB. BA में any domestic company, foreign company cannot avail these concession tax regimes. Only domestic companies are eligible for these tax regimes. Okay? So any domestic company can opt. What are the other conditions? Manufacturing company first देखना है, or in the electricity generating companies है, and then your BA is eligible for, BA can be any company can opt, domestic company can opt for BAA. Important date that BAB के लिए, for eligible for BAB, the company should be set up and registered on or after very important date. Market ये वाले points आपको highlight कर लेना अपनी study में, आपकी short notes में. Date is very important here. ठीक है? That company should be set up and registered on or after 1/10/2019. Here there is no time, कोई time limit नहीं, no time limit. Both existing and new company can avail this benefit. ठीक है? Now important thing is here, it should commence manufacturing, commence होनी चाहिए on or before 31st of March 2023. You know, for May exam and November exam, the previous year 21-22 is relevant. So 22 तक तो setup होगा, then only they can eligible, right? 23 अभी ये वाली date you can leave it also, but this is the very important date. 1/10/2009 के बाद, after 1/10/2009 this company has to be set up, right? Before that they are not eligible. It's straightforward out from this purview of section 115 BA. Okay. Now it should not. There are certain conditions. See here, there is a very beautiful table is given in your study map. Read that table properly. Okay. Make a comparison is given. When you compare those things, now you will easily remember the provisions also. Easily remember the things. Very tricky points also in both the sections. So read that table given in your study map. That there is no time limit in 115 BA first. Need not to be a manufacturing or a production company. जरूरी नहीं है कि इसे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हो या प्रोडक्शन में हो. BA ऑप्ट कर सकते हैं और BA ऑप्ट कर सकते हैं. So there is no condition. However, there is a condition on BAB section. There are certain conditions for eligible for opting this BAB. It should not be formed by splitting up. Okay, it should not be formed by splitting up. Okay, fine. It does not use any previously used machinery and previously used building as well, which is used for a hotel or a convention for which a deduction under section 80 6 80 is no more relevant now because 35 AD also comes into picture where you are eligible for claiming this incentive linked deductions in the section 35 AD. So earlier, if you have done and that building you want to use for this purpose, then that company will come out from the purview of section 115B. Okay. Important point is this one. It is a tricky point. You can get confused also. It should not be engaged in any business other than the business of manufacture or production of any article. Means if a manufacturing company is there, if it is engaged in some incidental activity like trading in shares or some other kind of non-manufacturing work, so that will company again cannot opt section 115 BAB. It can go for section 115 BAA, but not for BAB. Right? This is the main important thing. So this is the criteria we have checked. Now, before answering this question MCQ 1, read out these things. Let me identify which are there are two companies in this case scenario, Yatra Limited and Shiva Limited. Certain information is given. What is that information? Both are the Indian companies, right? Yatra Limited is set up on what date? It is set up. It is set up on 1/10/2021 for printing of business. Important words. Printing of business. Books. Printing of books. Printing of books के लिए there is some important fact relating to printing of books. I will tell you in the coming MCQ also. Meanwhile, I want to ask you people, what is that relevant point relating to this printing of books here? You please reply me through that query portal. Please do it. Right? So that printing of books, I have shown you some slide here. Conditions required to be fulfilled for availing this concession tax regime. Beyond this, one important note is also given that what business activities are not considered as does not include in manufacturing or production business. What are these things? Market list. There are certain 6 things are being listed. One is being notified by the central government. As of now, no such notification has come out. There are now 5 here, right? So remember, you have to remember. You don't have any choice. You have to remember these 5 activities, these 5 businesses which are not considered as manufacture or production. Which are not considered as manufacture production. What are these? Development of computer software in any form, not included in business or manufacturing. Mining, conversion of marble blocks or similar items, bottling of gas into cylinder, printing of books. In the case scenario is given, printing of books. Yatra Limited is given. Date is also given on or after 1st October 2019, but it is in the business of printing of books. Printing of books is not considered as manufacturing, right? So this company is out of the purview of section 115 BAB. 15% concession eligible. Bahar. Now look at it. So out हो गई है. अब हमारे पास Yatra Limited के लिए what section is left for us is BAA. Right? Yatra Limited now we have checked. Now we are going to again to our case scenario. Shiva Limited की information read करते हैं. Let's read. Shiva Limited is a domestic, of course, Indian company, domestic company. It is engaged in the business generation of electricity. Of course, it is given generation of electricity. Even if it is not in any kind of manufacturing activity, it can avail the benefit of consider tax regime under section 115 BAA, right? This company was set up also. I know I'm not aware of when it's set. Its information is given that if this company is set up on 1/4/2019, can it opt for 115 BAB? No, because it has to be set up on or after 1st October 2019. Whereas the company was set up on 1/4/2019, so it also come out of the purview of section 115 BAB. Now BAA रह गया only. ठीक है? This is the relevant information for answering MCQ 1. What are the statements are given? The statements wale questions now. Please go through each and every statement very carefully. You have to make the matching. You have to select the relevant one or two. Choose the one or more than two statements for answering the question. One भी हो सकता है, two भी हो सकता है. Read each and every statement very carefully. Even in any kind of MCQs, read all the options carefully. हो सकता है there might be some trick which you are skipping while answering, while choosing one immediately you are arriving at one option, but हो सकता है there is certain other option in which some trick is there, due to which is you are not able to catch that time. So read each and every option also properly. ठीक है? यहाँ पे first is this: both Shiva Limited and Yatra Limited are eligible to opt for concession tax regime under section 115B. No, both are out. Since Yatra Limited is in printing business and Shiva Limited set up on 1st of April 2019 before 1/10/2019. Both Shiva Limited and Yatra Limited are not eligible to opt for. See, first statement is eligibility, second is not eligibility. This is also seems to be a correct statement. Both Shiva Limited and Yatra Limited are not eligible. Now, both Shiva Limited and Yatra Limited are eligible for opting for 115 BAA. Both can do it, right? BAA में no such condition. Both can do it. They have to, of course, tax planning form में they have to check which is the more beneficial thing, either opting for the concession tax regime or paying the tax as per the normal provisions. They have to make that analysis, right? यहाँ पे in this question, as a such कोई requirement नहीं हो सकता. Different type of question will ask you in your examination where they will say, they can ask you which is the most beneficial, compute the tax liability of the company in the most beneficial manner. Then you have to see everything, MAT, normal provisions, and this. Every comparison you have to make, right? So, second option and third option seems to be correct to me. Yatra Limited is eligible to opt for section 115 BAB, but Shiva Limited is not eligible. दोनों ही eligible नहीं है BAB के लिए. Wrong option. Both Shiva Limited and are not eligible to opt for consider tax regime under section BAA. दोनों कर सकते हैं. There is no such hard and fast condition for doing this. So what are the options? First, second and third are the correct statements. Then the answer is B. Right? This is the way you have to answer. But that these two sections between BAB or BAE in accordance with certain points like eligibility. First point, make it a point, make it some 4 pillars like that. Eligibility, tax rates. Tax rates are very important. Okay? Certain rates are given. 15% rate भी लगता है. Okay, for BA, if the company is opting for BAB, 22% का rate is also applicable. LTCG, STCG, the specific rates given in the chapter 12 are also applicable. In spite of this, surcharge rate of 10% is applicable, irrespective of the total income. Whatever be the total income, it's below 1 crore, above 1 crore, it's above 10 crore, the surcharge rate is fixed at 10%. So this have to be take care. What are the rates applicable? If the company is having like house property income and opting for BAB opt kariye, in that case, the tax rate would be 22% for that other income. But no deduction will also be eligible. No exemption, no allowance in respect of that income is eligible. Right? So there are certain points. This is the one thing, eligibility, you have to note down. You have to note down what are the tax rates. What are the tax rates, of course, surcharge rate is very essential. What are the conditions? What are the exemptions? What are the deductions? What are the things which you are not able to claim if you are opting for those schemes? So note down those things. Okay? These things, please note down. and then revise these sections again and again, right? Now moving to the second question immediately. What is the second MCQ? Second MCQ is if Shiva Limited and Yata Limited opted for concession tax regimes, can they claim deduction under section 80JJA? If yes, what would the amount of deduction available while computing total income for the assessment year 22-23? 80JJA. See, if the company is opting for BAB or BAA, the conditions for deductions are same, exemptions are same. Okay? Either it's opting for BAA, BAB, whatever it's opting, whatever the section is it, the conditions for deductions, the restrictions on deductions and exemption are same. They cannot claim deduction under Chapter 6A, except 80JJAA and 80M. 80JJAA is for providing for deduction in respect of additional employee cost. For providing employment, to increase employment, this section is there in the Income Tax Act. 30% of the employee cost, additional employee cost for 3 assessment year, beginning from the year in which the employees are being joined, employed, right? From that year, 30% of the additional employee cost will be allowed as deduction under section 80JJA. 80M also is eligible. Here they are talking about only 80JJA in case of both Shiva Limited and Yata Limited. Now you have to recall the provisions of 80JJA. What are 80JJA provisions? Let me tell you again. Key 30% you will be eligible. 30% of the additional employee cost incurred in the course of business is in the course of such business in the previous year would be allowed for 3 assessment years. 3 assessment years, including assessment relevant to the previous year in which such employment is provided. Okay, 30%. Same additional employee cost will be computed in the first year only. As an ENT, after increments हो जाएगा next year में employee cost increase हो जाएगी, तो next year का जो deduction amount will undergo change? No. The amount of deduction for all the 3 years will be computed based on the first year employment, right? First year employment cost accordingly. How to compute this additional employee cost? Additional employee cost is the cost incurred for the additional employees. What is this? Additional employees, who are considered as additional employees? The employees who are employed during the previous year and whose employment has the effect of increasing the total number of employees employed by the employer as of the last year of the preceding year. Certain exclusions are being given to the employees, which employees are not considered as additional employees. What are those employees are? First, important, remember these limits that whose total employments are more than 25,000 per month. 25,000 or less is fine, but more than 25,000 are not considered as additional employees, right? Uske behalf pe, an employee for whom entire contribution is paid by the government in accordance with employee, and this government is paying on their behalf, no, not included. Then the employee employed for a period of less than 240 days. Very important. ये बहुत अच्छे से याद रखना कि what is the 240 days period condition is. Emoluments condition is again very important. This is again very important. That employee employed for a period of less than 240 days. Less than 240 days. These days ना very confusing. आप देखोगे residential status में आपको याद रखना मतलब 182 days है. The additional depreciation, the depreciation के लिए, not additional depreciation, normal depreciation के computation के लिए also 180 days है, ये 240 days है. Another 150 days condition is also there. कि अगर if the company is in the business of manufacturing of leather or your this leather business or footwear business में, then for those companies के लिए 150 days condition is given, right? यहाँ पे 240 days. These companies are not in those businesses, so 240 days condition is available. Let me see. An employee who does not participate again, who does not participate in the recognized provident fund. What are the information? What are the facts given in the case scenario? In the case scenario, it is given in respect of Yatra Limited that on the same date, that is 1st October 21, after 119, okay. After 1st October 2019, it has been set up, but it is in the business of printing of books, so not eligible for benefit in BAB, but BAA can be, that company can opt for BAA. On the same date, and installed new plant and machinery for 2 crore and put the same to use immediately. It employed 220 employees on the same date. How much employee? On the same day, 220 employees. Okay, 220 employees, it is employing 110 को. Condition is for 240 days. Okay, less than and they are not considered additional employees. So these employee costs will not be counted as for deduction. This deduction this year nahi milegi. If they are continuing in the next succeeding year for 240 days, then they will be eligible in the next year for this deduction. This year, this company will not be eligible for 80 JJA. In case of Shiva Limited, let us say, it had employees. See, 19 May the company was set up, right? For previous year, 1920, 2021, and 21-22. 21-22 is relevant for you. For 3 years, the company must be claiming the deduction in the section 80 JJ. So 19 को set up हुआ. It had included 500 new employees, all of whom participate in the provident fund. Everything is important. You have to read each and every word. Okay, it makes a difference in answering the question. So it employed 500 new employees. The employment of these employees were paid by ECS through bank account. 17,000 per employee per month for 160 employees. Okay, 160 employees के लिए 17,000 per month. And I'm not going to do the computations. I will tell you the amount exactly. 17,000, 25,000 less है. Eligible हो गए 160 employees. 21,000 employees again. 120 employees again getting 21,000 per month remuneration. And 220 employees getting remuneration of 26,000 would not be considered additional employees. So what you are going to consider? Only 17,000 employees. 160 employees getting 17,000 remuneration. And 120 employees getting 21,000 remuneration. So for these things, you have to compute it. Let's go to our question MCQ itself. Yatra Limited is not eligible. आपने देख लिया. You have seen कि employees are not employed for 240 days. ठीक है. So यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? Your computation will be like this: 160 employees getting 17,000 remuneration. Okay, into 12. For whole year they were employed. And then your 120 employees getting remuneration of 21,000 for 12. Okay? It's coming to 5 crore 24 lakhs. It's not coming, it's coming to 6 lakh. Just a minute. Yeah. 6 crore 28 lakh 80,000. Okay, into 30%. It is coming to 30% only. 1 crore 88 lakh 64,000. Right? So this company will be eligible for 1 crore 88 lakh 64,000. Then your correct option is option C. In this way, you are going to arrive at this. You have to recall that 80 JJA provision to 40 days condition you have to see. You have to see that emoluments amount also for computing this deduction. Now moving to our immediately to our MCQ 3. What would be the total income and tax liability of Shiva Limited for AY 22-23 if it opts for concession tax regime? Shiva Limited only we are asking here. What is this Shiva Limited? If it opts for, 22% rate has to be applied for computing this. Total income you have to compute. Shiva Limited is eligible for 80 JJA. Okay. Some other information is also given. Let's see that information again. In respect to Shiva Limited, yeah. Shiva Limited के respect में already we computed 80 JJA deduction. Now some other information is given that the company has received dividend of 60 lakhs from other domestic companies during the previous year 21-22. Shiva Limited distributed dividend of 72 lakhs for the previous year 21-22 in July 22. It has distributed 80M deduction. Received a dividend 60 lakh and distributed also. 80M provides that in case of a domestic company receiving any dividend from any domestic company, foreign company or a business trust, right, will be eligible for a deduction to the amount restricted to the amount distributed. Amount received or distributed, whichever is lower, will be eligible for 80M deduction. So here the company is receiving 60 lakh rupees and distributing 72. So 60 lakh rupees के लिए the company will be eligible for 80M deduction. Right? Information is given. Shiva Limited gross total income already given in the question itself. That computed as per the special provisions is 7.2 crore for Shiva Limited and 1.3 crore for Yapan Limited. 7.2 crore. 7.2 crore में what you have to reduce? Gross total income basis, right? Gross total income में then you have to reduce 7.20 crore minus how much is the amount for our 188,64,000. 188,64,000 minus 60 lakh. Okay, it is coming to your 471,36,000. Right? Now the tax rate applicable is ये आपको total income आ गया. This is your total income. Now tax rate is 22%. ठीक है? इस पे आपको plus charge करना है 10%, then plus 4% on that amount. You know how to compute the tax liability? It is coming to your 184,71,36,000 is your total income and 118,6390 is your tax liability. This is the correct answer. This you can compute it. It's an easy question. Once you know the provision, once you know how to apply the provision, you will definitely going to arrive at the correct answers. Right? Now going forward to the MCQ 4. What would be the tax liability of Yatra Limited? Tax liability of Yatra Limited. If it opts for concession tax regime, अगर opt करती है, what would be the tax regime? Concession BA only it can opt. So 22% you have to compute. Directly आपको you have the information is given for GTI. ठीक है? Already GTI कितना दिया आपको 1.3 crore 30. ठीक है? 1.30 crore. Now the company is not eligible for 80JJ. Not eligible. So it becomes your total income. It's coming to 1 crore 30. Okay. Apply 22%. Same rate. Surcharge and cess also. Plus 4% cess also. Right? So it is coming to your 32,71,840. Easy to answer this question. Now, fifth question is what would be the total income of Shiva Limited and Yatra Limited for AY 22-23 computed as per, read this question, computed as per the normal provisions. Now, आपको normal provisions you have to compute, right? Normal provisions से दोनों का, you have to compute both, Yatra Limited and not this. आपको क्या दिया हुआ? GTR दिया हुआ है. GTI is given to you, computed as per the concession tax regime, right? Now you have to compute as per the normal provisions. आपको पता है, you know that in case if the company is opting for concession tax regime, certain restrictions are there. The company is not eligible for additional depreciation. Let's see what information is given relating to those things. Certain information. The company has installed plant and machinery, purchased a new plant and machinery when it purchased. Let us see. It is Yatra Limited relating the information is given that on the same date, that is 1st October 2021, the company has installed new plant and machine for 2 crore, right? And put the same to use immediately. It is eligible for additional depreciation. 2 crore pe 20% say eligible depreciation, it will be eligible, right? It is coming to 40 lakhs. But here it must not have been considered while computing GTI as per the special provision. In case of Shiva Limited as well, it also installed a new plant and machinery of 9 crores and put the same to use immediately. 110. It also installed the plant and machinery on 110, right? So 9 crore pay also it is not been given. So it is coming to 1 crore 80 lakh. What you have to do? You have to reduce from this. It was not being reduced. No reduction was being given since they are computed as per the special provisions. So 7.20 crores, you have to compute minus 1 crore 80 lakhs. Then Shiva Limited is eligible for 80 JJ as well, 80 M as well. So its total income is coming to 2 crore 91 lakh 36,000. And in case of Yatra Limited, it will be eligible for additional depreciation in case of normal provisions. So So its total income coming to 90 lakhs. So correct option is A. One important thing, I already asked you when we were reading doing the first MCQ, the printing of books के लिए ना, the printing of books, some important fact is there. Important thing. The printing of book is not considered as manufacturing for the purpose of section 115 BAB. But for additional depreciation, we are considering it. Why is it so? Because there was a circular. There was a circular printing and uske liye there is a circular, that is circular number 15/2016 dated 19/5/2016 clarifies that printing of business is considered as manufacturing business. Let me see how many of any queries, and I asked you also, anybody replied regarding it? There are. Sumit Jain, manufacturing company, printing of manufacturing business, but for addition that is very good. Sumit, very good that you have answered it properly. It's very nice to say that you remember that thing. So printing of manufacturing is considered manufacturing, but B के लिए नहीं करते. ये tricky points है जो आपको remember रखना है. Okay, you have to remember those points, right? Now let me take you to this case scenario 2. Very fastly, let me brief you out what this case scenario is related to. It is based on what provisions immediately. This case scenario is based on basically on you have seen the answers also, but please listen it carefully. It will help you to revise those concepts again. There are certain amendments also being taken effect, which are being considered, which are being dealt out in this case scenario. Right. So this case scenario is on 143.1 intimation. Then your 147. This is the amended section. Substituted, whole of the section is substituted by the Finance Act 21. 147 search assessment are being substituted. So whatever be the search assessment which were done under section 115(3)(a), if the search is conducted on or after 1st 4, 2022, those search assessment has to be done under section 147 itself. It's a new provision. Read it again and again. Okay, revise it again. There are certain things which are being given in this section. New things. Search assessments also come into this thing. Earlier, reasons to believe for doing the income escaping assessment. Now it is based on the information which the assessing officer has. On the basis of the information which suggests that income has been escaped for the relevant assessment year has to be done in section 147. Whether that information, this is information or deemed information. Deemed information is in the cases of search cases, right? Those search cases also, those assessments, search assessment 153 अलग section होता था. If you have attempted your November attempt, तो आप पहले 153 पढ़ा होगा. Now you need not to go to the 153A, 6 years, 10 years limit, right? That limit, forward those limits. Now it is under section 147, it's 3 years time limit and the 10 years time limit. 10 years, 50 lakhs se upar se the value exceeds of the assets, the value of the asset exceeds 50 lakhs, then 10 years limit is there. Deemed information concept, new concept has come into picture. That what information they have been considered, that the information is flagged in the system. This management system through that information is flagged. That information suggests the income escaping assessment. Then the assessing officer can issue notices. But then notices again, certain conditions is bigger. You notice the assessing officer cannot directly issue any kind of notice. It has to be conduct the inquiries, take the permissions of the authorities. There is a period, up to what time period that notice can be issued. So those things, please go through properly, read it properly, thoroughly, each and every line of this section. Very important section, new section. Okay. So here in this section, one of the question is based on section 147, 143(1). 270A, already existing section, 270A, 270AA. This case scenario based on these provisions, right? This is an integrated case scenario for more than one sections are being involved, right? I'm not going to read this case scenario. I'm directly going to the MCQ question. What is the first MCQ? There is an amendment in section 143(1) also. See it. What is that amendment? I'm not going to tell you. For the purpose of answering this question alone, assume that intimation under section 143(1)(a). For the, of course, you have to check the case scenario again. Once you give a partially reading, you jump to your MCQ. When you are reading your MCQ, then read the facts of the case scenario again. हो सकता है कि इंफॉर्मेशन जो रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन है वो उस पैराग्राफ में ना हो, दैट इंफॉर्मेशन इज नॉट गिवन इन दैट पैराग्राफ, दैट इंफॉर्मेशन इज गिवन इन सम अदर पैराग्राफ इन डाउन और आफ्टर ईच थिंग. सो रीड इट अगेन. ओके, ऐसा नहीं कि आप सिर्फ एक पैराग्राफ देखो और immediately answer that question. Avoid doing this kind of things. So यहाँ पे what is the question here? Assume that intimation under section 143(1)(a) was sent to Messrs TMP LLP on 1/2/2024. Would such intimation be valid? See, यहाँ पे तो one kind of case scenario MCQs are given. It might be possible. It might be possible कि इसकी वजह से इसकी जगह आपको कोई some descriptive question can also be framed, right? तो वहां पे आपको एक एक वर्ड लिखना होगा, everything. So आपका provisions वही है, the provisions are same, the things are same, understanding same, application same, only presentation का difference है. The differences of presentation. यहाँ पे here you need not to do any kind of presentation. There you have to be very careful while presenting your answer. It should be substantive with the proper reasoning. In case of assumptions are required, give the proper assumptions as well. Write down in your solutions properly. Highlight, line, underline करो. Do it underlining. ठीक है? कि ये मैंने assumption लिए. इस assumption possible assumption ऐसा नहीं, logical assumptions only you have to take. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको suppose individual is given, उसके age नहीं लिखी है, and you are assuming that individual is a senior citizen. Such kind of assumption please avoid. Do not make such kind of assumption only. Make logical assumptions only, which are quite possible. You have to undertake. This question facts are such you have to take some assumption only. Then that question is possible to answer. So take those assumptions and note it down. Clearly mention in your state in your answer sheet. यहाँ पे 143(1)(a) है. What in facts are given relating to this 143(1)? Here TMP file its return of income for AY 22-23, declaring total income 18 lakhs on 2nd of December. When it filed 2nd of December 22, don't see कि ये तो belated हो गया, कुछ belated पे क्वेश्चन आ गया होगा. No, don't give any such kind of thought. आप आंसर क्वेश्चंस पढ़ो तभी आके देखो, ठीक है? क्या क्वेश्चन सब हो सकता है belated, तो क्वेश्चन ही ना हो. तो इसलिए यहाँ पे इसको छोड़ देते हैं. यहाँ पे हम आते हैं on processing the return, the total income determined under section 143(1)(a) was 22 lakhs. ठीक है? Processing, यहाँ पे कोई date is not given, no date is given, but the company has received an intimation under section 143(1)(a). यहाँ पे पूछा है कि intimation अगर मान लो if the intimation is sent to the company, was sent to the company on 1st of February को भेजा, if the intimation sent किया, तो whether that intimation is valid or not, कब तक भेज सकता है? Till what time the intimation can be sent? See, I cannot wait for your replies. I am moving hurriedly because we have to complete both the series also. I will try to finish, of course. So यहाँ पे there is an amendment earlier before 1st of April 21. The intimation can be sent till 1 year from the end of the financial year in which return was filed. Right? Earlier. Okay. Now the time limit has been reduced to 9 months. This is the amendment in this section. 9 months. Now the intimation can be sent to the person only within 9 months from the end of the month, from end of the financial year in which the return was filed. What are the options? Yes, since it was sent within 1 year, of course it is sent, but it cannot send after 1/4/21. No, the intimation was not valid since it was sent after the expiry of 9 months from the end of the financial year in which return was made. 9 months from the end of the financial in which return was made. This is the correct option. I already told you the provision. Now you can write the answer. Immediately the MCQ 7. What is this MCQ 7? It is based on the new provision. I already told you that 147 is the new provision. 147, 148, 140. This 148A, 149, 150. 151. There are certain sections in this whole of the procedural, this assessment provision gamut has been changed. It has been substituted. So read it properly. Again, I am telling you, read it properly. It's a new amendment. Here, this question is simple, very simple. Testing there is one tricky point only here. But for the purpose of answering this question alone, assume that in case of Messrs TMP, one notice was being sent. The income escaping assessment was done in case of TMP LLP. Income escaping assessment, taking all the approvals, all the complying with the section 148A that is conducting of inquiry being complied with. Here, what they are saying ki assume Messrs TMP LLP certain other income which had escaped assessment came to assessing officer's notice subsequently in the course of pre-assessment proceedings, but also assessed or reassessed in the reassessment order made under section 147. Subsequently, they can do it. Can they do it without complying with section 148A? Yes, it is clearly given in section 147. It can do without complying with the section 148A. This chart is this diagrammatic presentation is given your study mat also. The content is also given in this thing. So it can assess which comes to its notice subsequently in the course of proceedings, and compliance with that 148A is not required. So it can do it. So in the assessing of the action of the assessing officer is correct. Right? Now, MCQ 8. What is MCQ 8? Very simple MCQ. I think I should skip it because of taking some MCQ. One student also asked what query relating to series 2. This is 270A penalty, which you can easily compute it. Only you have to compute the underreported income, right? First of all, you know what is underreported income. And what is the question is? The question is, at the time of assessment under section 143(3), assume underreporting of income is not on account of misreporting. आपको पता है, you must be knowing कि misreporting के case में, in case of misreporting, the penalty is leviable at 200%, right, of the amount of tax payable. Just a minute. Of tax payable. Okay. So it is not a case of misreporting. It is a misreporting is misrepresentation of facts or failure to record certain things in your books of accounts. There are 6 or 7 cases are given in that. 270A6 is there in your study. Remember those cases. What are those cases? When the income is considered as misreporting, as on account of underreporting, income is considered on account of misreporting. You have to see it. Give a glance at it. You must be knowing what is it. 270A6 है क्या? ठीक है, यहाँ पे it is not on account of this thing, so 50%. यहाँ पे क्या लगेगा? 50% of tax payable. Easy to compute. How underreporting is computed? आपका intimation, the income income is computed under the intimation is given for report return file किया declaring 18 lakhs and intimation was sent for determining the income at 22 lakhs. So 18 to 22, no, it's not considered underreporting income. आप कितना मानेंगे? Only 22 से बाद में the succeeding assessments में whatever is the increase in the total income, right? That is considered as underreporting. So 143(3) again the income is assessed where addition was made and the total income was assessed to 35 lakhs. ठीक है? So 35 lakh and this 22 lakh is coming to 13 lakhs. इस पे आपका tax payable TMP LLP है fixed rate at 30% without any no concession benefit is given to firms and this LLPs. So it's 30%. Surcharge if income exceeds 1 crore 12% and below that no surcharge. So no surcharge 30% आपने compute किया your 30% of your 13 lakhs and 4% added और उसका 50% is allowed. 50% is have to be paid as penalty under section 270A. So what is the penalty amount? Penalty amount is coming to, I think ये सब बच्चों का आ गया होगा आंसर. Most of you must have arrived at this answer. Now MCQ 9. MCQ 9. What is this MCQ 9? MCQ 9 says you have to compute the amount of penalty again under section 270A. I hear they are saying that underreporting is on account of misreporting. 200% लगेगा. और आपको कब देखना when you have to see it is you have to say 147. Already 143.3 till the time the income was assessed as 143.3 already paid the penalty. So the difference between the 143.3 assessment and this 147 assessment, whatever the difference amount, that on that amount this is considered underreported income. On that amount you have to pay the assessee has to assessee has to pay the penalty at the rate of 200%. Okay, tax payable you have to complete and 200% of that tax payable. Then this answer is coming to 436,800, right? Now MCQ 10. What MCQ 10? It's not a very common provision. 270A, very commonly. So, but you have to read each and everything. 270A is application for immunity, for granting immunity from penalty, tax, or interest. Right, the RCC can make an application to the authorities for granting the immunity from the penalty leviable under section 270A or certain prosecutions also 276C and CC. There are against that you can make an application for granting the immunity. This question is in continuation to question number 9. So whatever be the facts, whatever the things given in MCQ 8. MCQ 8 says that underreporting is on account of misreporting. This word is very relevant for you to answer this question. So, it has received the reassessment order on 12/12/2023. It has received that order, and Messrs. TMP LLP does not prefer appeal against such order. Can Messrs. TMP LLP make application for grant of immunity from penalty? If yes, what is the time limit for making said application? In this question, misreporting के account पे हुआ था, so he cannot make application for immunity grant. But in case if it is not an account of misreporting of income, it can make. So what is the relevant date? That date is very relevant for you. It has to make an application 1 month. Remember this date. Revise it out. Okay, 1 month from the end of the month when in which assessment order was received. Okay. So when it is received, the assessment order 23 को received हुआ and is ending on 23. It can make the application till 31st of January 24. Here, no relevance for that option since it is on account of misreporting of income. It cannot make the application. The first option is the correct option. Immunity for grant of penalty. Well, we already covered that 1 month time period has to be remembered, right? And he does not prefer an appeal also. It cannot make appeal. These are the important points you have to remember. Right. Now, MCQ 11. Let us take the independent MCQs. This is on the new provision. This MCQ is on the new provision. 194Q. Amendment, right? 194Q पे है this MCQ and 206C 1H. Here, what is the provision? Mr. Sharma, a resident Indian, is in retail business and his turnover was 11.8 crore. To satisfy to come into the purview of section 206C, 1H. Turnover limit is 10 crore in the immediately preceding financial year. He regularly purchases goods from another resident. Here, he is a purchaser. He is purchasing the goods, not a seller, buyer. Hai. Now, Mr. Tandon, a wholesaler, he is a seller. Seller की limit भी 10 crore है. Buyer की limit is also 10 crore. Under section 194Q, it's the same limit for both places. The limit is same. But certain distinctions are there. Circular is also there regarding it. What is that circular number? Let me tell you that circular number also. What is that circular number? That is very important circular. Read it thoroughly. Read it properly. It's really very, very important circular. Even in your study mat itself, read it properly. That is circular number. No need to remember the circular number. Remember the fact, clarification given in that circular, right? 13/2021, 36 21 is the date. It is given in your study material. Very important circular. It provides you clarification of certain aspects, cross application of sections 194O, 2061H, 194Q. These sections has to be read simultaneously. Okay, cross application is there. If 194Q is applicable, then you are not going to see 194O, or 194O is applicable, then you have to go to 2061H or 194Q. Tax has to be deducted on section 194O. There are certain other clarifications are given in that circular, when to include the GST or not, when 2061F regarding the some certain things is given. So this is a very, very important section, very important circular. Read it properly, each and every line of the circular, right? So here for answering this question, see important date when this 194Q was inserted. This date is making relevance. You have to remember this date, 1/7/2021. What it provides that section 194Q, right? A buyer has to deduct the TDS at the rate of 1.1%. Remember this percentage rate on the sum exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Aggregate value of purchase of goods is, it exceeds 50 lakh rupees, then it has to be 194Q attracts, and 1st of July के बाद only the implications of this section will be attracted. But for the purpose of computing this limit, the threshold limit, the turnover of the purchases of whole year has to be aggregated, right? For computing this 50 lakh limits, right? TDS, when the TDS has required to be deducted, the TDS is required to be deducted at the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is earlier. बहुत जरूरी है remember करना, because this is the distinction point between section 206C 1H and this 194Q. Because in section 206C 1H, it is at the time of receipt, right? It is at the time of receipt, not debit time. So you have to deduct the TDS at the time of receipt, right? And the rate is same, 0.1% of the sale consideration at the time of receipt. Here also the amount is same, 50 lakhs. There are certain things which are similar to 206C1H, but the date of attraction of section 194Q is from 1st of July 21, whereas 206C1H was there for the whole year. It was earlier introduced by the financial 2020, right? So earlier, but for the previous year 21-22, it was there for full year. Here, this is the thing, 0.1% rate is same. What is the portion here? That Mr. Tandon regularly purchases Mr. Sharma purchases the things from Mr. Tandon. He purchased he made up aggregate payment for purchase amounting to rupees 127 lakhs, and the application is given that 45 lakhs he purchased on 15/4. Then 15 lakh on 1/5, then 20 lakh on 1/6, 25 lakh 12/8, 22 lakhs on 23/11. Date plays significant role in this section, right? For applying these sections, dates play significant role. So dates have been given. Accordingly, the TTS has to be deducted, or TCS has to be calculated also. Assume that said amounts were credited to Mr. Tandon's account in the books of Mr. Sharma on the same date, except for purchases made on 1/5/2021 and 12/8/21. When these purchases are being made, payment also made on the same day. That's fine. For purchases made on 1/5/21 and 12/8/21 were credited on 29. They were credited earlier, but the payment were made on 1/5/21 and 12/8/21. So यहाँ पे क्या लगा? आपको 1/6 है, 1/5 है, your 12/8 is after 1/7 date, 22 is after 1/7 date. So these 3 dates, for these 3 dates, 15/4, 1/5/21 and 1/6/21, the TCS provision has to be applied. The tax has to be collected by Mr. Tandon. Okay, or under section 206C1H at the rate of 0.1%, but 15/4 pay the sales were only for 45 lakh, and on 1/5 it's 15 lakh. So यहाँ पे here at the incidence takes place on 1/5/21. Okay, यहाँ पे the threshold exceeds 50 lakh. So 50, 45 plus 15 is 60 lakhs, so 10 lakhs. Amount exceeding 50 lakhs only TCS has to be collected on 1/5. 1/5 payment for 1/5 is made on the say 1/5 को payment किए, but credit पहले हुआ, तो credit doesn't make any difference in case of section 126C 1H. TCS has to be collected on the receipt date. So he received the payment on 1/5/21. So 1/5/21 पे to 10 lakh पे he has to collect the tax, right? Then again 1/6 को again he has to collect the tax. 1/6 को 20 lakhs पे, ठीक है? 2000 या 1000, 25 lakh 12/8 date is there. 25 lakh पे 12/8 है, and 22 lakh पे 23/11 है. But the amount for 12 August वाला जो purchases था, the purchases which were made on 12/8, the already credited on 10/8. So यहाँ पे TDS apply होगा. If both the provisions are attracted, then we will give preference to TDS provisions, right? TDS provisions has to be attracted. So 194 क्यों attract होगा यहाँ पे? On 10/8 को 2500 point rate are same 2500, and on 23/11 payment and credit on the same date. So 23/11 को again the TDS would be attracted on 22 lakhs whole amount, since already 50 lakh limits being crossed itself on 1 of April, right? So here it is, TCS has to be collected. TCS has to be collected on 1/5 and 1/6, right? So this is the correct option, and this also statement is correct. Here is TDS has to be deducted at source on 2500. So both these two are right, and the correct option is C. C is the correct option. This is about 206C 1H and 194Q. 194Q is a new provision. Read it thoroughly. Remember the date when it comes into effect. Remember that date. Next question is relating to pension. 194P again. It's a newly inserted section. 194P is a newly inserted section. It provides for what? It provides for that TDS has to be deducted. TDS has to be deducted by the specified bank on the total income of the specified senior citizen. ठीक है? Specified bank होगा, specified citizen होगा, and considering into effect the deductions or rebate allowable under section 87A, the specified citizen in that case need not to file the return of income. ठीक है? This provision can be tested in return of filing also, but TDS also, both the things. He has to compute the thing, giving effect to chapter 6 deduction, giving effect to rebate also. Those things, specified bank has to give this. Who is a specified senior citizen? This you have to remember. Who is the considered specified senior citizen? See, in the income tax act, there are now 3 categories of senior citizens. Senior citizen, first 60 years and above, below 80 years, and very senior citizen for the rates purpose. Then here comes the new category, that is a specified senior citizen. Who is a specified senior citizen? Like, who is this? A specified senior citizen is a person who is of the age of 75 years or more, right? And all the conditions. Having pension income only, and he should have not received any other income except interest income from the same specified banks, right? And he furnished the declaration to the specified bank in the prescribed form, declaring this is the income. Given TDS has to be. In that case, that senior citizen will be exempted from filing the return of income. Okay. Now, in this question, what is being asked? You are required. Mr. Ravi Prakash is 79 years. 75 years is ज़्यादा है. It's more than 75 years. Gets pension 58,000 per month, right? From Rajasthan state government. The same is credited to the SBI Kota Bank. In addition, he gets the interest 8% on fixed deposit of 28 lakhs with the said bank. On 1st January, he deposited 3 lakhs as 5-year term deposit in the same account at interest rate of 8.5%. Interest on saving bank credit to his saving account is 8,600. Certain information. So total income you have to compute. How total income has to be computed? Don't forget to read the each and every information. See carefully. जहाँ पे भी wherever ना tax liability they have asked you. See whether the person individual whether the person is opting for 115 BAC or not. See it very carefully. Agar if no information is given, then you have to compute in both ways. Dono ways you have to compute and answer accordingly. Ki this is the more beneficial, so we advise he will opt for this thing. If it is not, then you advise he not to opt for 115 BAC. He can pay the tax as per the normal provisions of the Income Tax Act. See it very carefully, right? Because your total income will undergo change. Accordingly, your tax liability will also undergo change if the person is opting for section 115 BAC. Right? Here, he is not opting. So, he is not opting. He is eligible for a certain deduction in the Chapter 6A. The certain deduction, also, pension income is there. हम क्या होते हैं? We forgot about the standard deduction. भूल जाते हैं. Standard deduction नहीं मिलेगी. Pension आता है या नहीं होगा. जब salary specifically if they ask you to compute, then we remember standard deduction is also available. But please remember those things. These are the salary since already been dealt and entered on the final. So there are certain provisions. So हम भूल जाते हैं. We tend to skip the small provisions which we read at intermediate level at a detail. Now we do not give any reading to those sections, those salary provisions or house property provisions. So at least give a one reading. एक बार तो जरूर you should read it. 58,000 per month है 115 BAC when you read ना आपको recall हो जाएगा what are the provisions, what are the deductions, what are the things which are not allowable as deduction while if the person is opting for 115 BAC. 58,000 is pension income, right? 58,000. I'm not going to compute it. It's totally 6,96,000 is the pension income. इसमें आपको 50,000 के standard deduction मिल जाएगा, right? Then आपका 6,46,000 हो गया. 6,46,000. Some fixed deposit is also made. 8% fixed deposit on 28 lakhs paid already थे, so he must be getting the interest also on those amounts. Interest also it's coming to I think 2,24,000, and then your 8.5% he made some deposit also for 5 years. 5 years deposit. See, ध्यान रखना, you have to recall ATC मिलता है. ATC deduction is available in respect of 5-year term deposit. It's eligible for ATC, right? So 8.5% you have to compute for 3 months. Interest also, interest on fixed deposit. It's coming to 6,375. Then your 8,600 is the saving interest, right? So यहाँ पे total income आ जाएगा. It's coming to 884,975. इसमें से आपको deductions मिलेगी 150 की ATC deduction and 50,000 80 TTB मिलेगा. 80 TTB since he is a senior citizen, right? 80 TTB 60% का range में मिलता है in case of senior citizen and resident. Senior citizen की definition is very important that the person should be a resident in India or of the age of 60 years or more at any time during the previous year. Non-resident are not classified as senior citizen. तो उनको 80 TTB नहीं मिलेगा. They are eligible for only 80 TTB. Okay. ये आ गया आपका 50,000 2 lakh हो गया. It's coming, your income is coming to 6,84,975. Normal tax rate you have to compute. The tax rate is coming to 48,880. Higher basic exemption limit मिलेगा. Higher basic exemption limit होगा इसमें 3 lakh का. Accordingly, you have to compute the tax liability. The tax liability would comes to 48,880. So no, he is required to file a return of income. Already bank has deducted 194P है. The bank has already deducted. He has a pension income only, and the interest also receiving from the same bank. 194B attract हो गया हो, तो he is not required to file the return of income. Now, moving to MCQ 13, it is on transfer pricing. It is on transfer pricing, the range concept. यहाँ पे they have asked you what are the values, percentage in the data set. क्या values हैं? What are the range the TPU has to frame to while compute the arm length interest rate applying the range concept as per rule 10CA. You have to compute. So आपको पता होगा you almost already knowing कि range concept कब लगता है. Range concept is applicable. This is important. You read it. ठीक है? यहाँ पे how the range concept is applicable is being tested in this question. They are not testing you when the range concept is applicable. अगर नहीं लगता है, then what you do? They are not testing on this aspect. In this question, they are only testing you the range. You have to compute the percentage. This is the range. What is the range that you have to do? Compute for the purpose of determining the arm length interest rate. For that purpose, what you have to do to apply the range concept, you have to arrange the data set in the ascending order, right? Then you have to compute the 35th percentile. The actual transaction falls within that 35th percentile and the 65th percentile. Then it will be considered arm's length price. If it goes beyond this range, then median of all this has to be taken. Median of the data set has to be taken to be the arm's length price. This is the concept. How you are going to do? Let's do it fastly. You have to arrange it in ascending order, the interest rate, not the observation. There are some data set. Range concept लगता तभी है when there are 6 or more entries, right? अगर 6 entries से कम है नहीं लगेगा. Range concept will not be applicable. Arithmetic mean has to be applied in that. So how to arrange? It's 5%. Ascending order, you all know it. 6%, then 8%, then it's 12%, then 14%, and then 17%, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 are the data entries. 35th percentile. 35th percentile comes to something 2.1 or something. 6 into 35 2.1. So you will go to the next 1 plus that. For third value you have to take. Third value is 35 percentile is 8%. 8% is 35 percentile. Then 65 percentile. 6 into 65 percentile is 3.9. The fourth value you have to consider. Fourth value. So this is the range, 12%, right? This is the 35th percentile value and this is the 65th percentile value, 12%. Now what is the median? Median क्या है? Range आपको पूरा पता होना चाहिए. Then only you can identify the arm length. Median also you must be knowing. If it is a whole number, 6 is this, 6 divided by into 50%, it's coming to whole number. If it is whole number, then third value, it's 3, it's coming to 3. So that value, third one, and the succeeding one, you have to take it into consideration. So third key value is, here is 8% plus 12%. 8 plus 12 is coming to 20. It's the arithmetic mean. It's 10. You have to consider. The median is 10. So answer is 8. I think this is clear to you. How you compute the 35th percentile, median or 65th percentile, right? Read this, what is the range concept, when it is applicable. हो सकता है some other form question may be asked based on this, whether range concept is applicable or not. Methods are certain, उन्हीं cases में only range concept is applicable. Arithmetic mean कैसे निकलता है? You have to know, you should know it, how to compute the arithmetic mean also, right? Read these things. MCQ 14. MCQ 14 is based on, again, more than 2 or 3 provisions basically, that in case of non-resident, one important point, key point, make sure whenever the question is asking about compute whether the TDS is deductible at source on the payments made to non-resident, आपके mind में what clicks to you? It clicks 195. 195 ही click करता है. 195 लगेगा या certain related provisions given in the chapter 70 कि आपका these are the provisions which are for non-residents only, those only click to you. That's fine. But in case of non-residents now, all incomes are not chargeable with tax. Section 195 says any person responsible for paying to any non-residents, any person, everybody has to pay, any person responsible for paying to any non-resident interest other than 194 LC LD interest rate interest, okay, made to the point interest or some chargeable to tax. Some chargeable to tax is very important line. कैसे identify होगा कि some chargeable to tax है या नहीं? Here we will go to section 9, right? Section 9 में जाएंगे. There deeming provisions are there that certain income, in case of non-resident, the income accrued arise in India, income received in India, income deemed to be received in India or deemed to accrue or arise in India only would be taxable. So section 9 is very, very, very important for non-resident person. Determining the taxability of non-resident, you ultimately have to go to section 9 or the DTL. DTL also again very important, plays a very important role for determining tax liability of non-resident. So यहाँ पे 195 आया, आपको डायरेक्टली 195 पे स्टिक नहीं रहना है, आप पहले देखना कि सेक्शन 9 अट्रैक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा, ठीक है? You have to say यहाँ पे what is the provision? यहाँ पे T in country acts advance $10 million on 1/6/21 to KS private limited. Foreign currency में the company is taking the loan, and KS private accepted the loan amount under an agreement also 194 approved by the central government. This is very important lines. Foreign currency में the loan is taken and it's approved also. The loan carries interest rate at the rate 9% per annum payable in foreign currency. For financial year, KS Private Limited paid interest after deducting income tax on 31/3/22. The TT buying rates on 1/6 is this one, and 31/3 is $1 is equal to 70. Income tax liability determined करनी T Inc receiving the interest amount, right, from the this thing a person from a resident, and for the purpose of business ये हुआ deeming provision है. Interest के लिए वैसे भी has to deduct the tax. Interest के लिए has to deduct the tax. 194 LC में ही already deduct होता है, 195 में नहीं जाना है यहाँ पे, because the he is borrowing the loan in the foreign currency. 194 LC लग जाएगा यहाँ पे, right? Since the loan is taken in foreign currency and it is approved by the central government, so rate is already specified in section 194 LC. TDS किस rate पे कटेगा? 194 LC is for TDS reduction, whereas 115A determines the tax, which the tax rate for certain incomes. There they make a reference that in case of interest taken into foreign currency, interest payable, the tax has to be the tax rate applicable is referred in section 194 LC. They made a reference to section 194 LC. So same tax rate is applicable by determining tax liability also for the foreign company. So it is 5%. US dollar foreign, the foreign exchange rule has to come into picture. Rule 115. Read it properly. Very important rule for you. 70. आपको देखना 70 rupees का. You have to compute the interest on this 10 million US dollar, and at the rate of 9%. Apply the rate as on the last day. In case of income chargeable under they had income from house property, PGBP not being income referred to in clause D, and income from other sources not being income by dividend or interest on security. Then income from other sources में this interest is chargeable to tax. The tax rate applied has to be on the last year of the previous year of the okay? Last year of the previous year. Last year of the previous year is 31/3/2022. So you have to apply the last year rate for determining this. 9 months ka interest has to be computed since it is taken on 1/6/2021, right? And you have to compute the tax at the rate of 5%, applying the surcharge also. See the interest itself coming exceeding rupees 1 crore. यहाँ पे आपका interest ही ज़्यादा होगा. Let me compute for you. $10 million into its 9% into 9/12. 10 months. It's not for 9 months. For 10 months, it's coming to 10 million into 9% into 12 into 70%. Interest itself is 5 crore 25 lakhs. Okay. Surcharge will be applicable. It's a foreign company. Surcharge is applicable at the rate of 2%. Right? 5% is the tax rate on that surcharge. Then education cess also 4%. Okay. Again a key point for you that in case TDS is asked in pay for a payment or made to a non-resident, TDS on the TDS we have to apply the HEC. While in case of resident payments, making payments to the resident, no HEC is applicable. Health and education is not applicable in case payment is made to resident assessees for applying the TDS, computing the TDS amount. Whereas in case of non-resident assessee, cess is also has to be included. Okay. Then in this manner, you can compute the interest amount. It is coming to D. Now MCQ 15. MCQ 15 is on advance ruling. Again, board for advance ruling. Amendment made by the Financial 21. read it properly. You board for advanced ruling are being substituted in place of advanced ruling, authority for advanced ruling till 1st of this September, 1st of September. On or after 1st of September, whatever will be the application has to be made. Whatever will be the application pending before the authority for advanced ruling has to be pronounced by the board of advanced ruling. Okay? That board will constitute for 3 boards are being constituted here. It will comprises of 2 members. The important aspect for board for advanced ruling is it is not binding. It is appellable before the High Court. It is appellable before the High Court. Whereas the authority for advanced ruling is binding on the assessee who is taking the making that application, on the authority subordinating it, and on respect of the transaction. Whereas in case of authority pronounced by the board for advanced ruling bar, it is appellable before the High Court. It is a very distinction, important distinction between the bar and the advanced ruling, authority for advanced ruling. AI. Okay? Very important, read it properly. But the fees, the application of fees and the applicants are remain the same. Same applicants are there, and bar also, and authority for advanced ruling also. And in case of bar, some certain things that case should not be pending before the income tax authority or the appellate tribunals. They cannot avail for both the remedies. They have to withdraw it, right? In case of bar, certain things you go through the study material, everything is clearly given in the study mat. This question is relating to the fees. It's very easy question. For applicable of fees, the fees के लिए you have to see the transaction limit. What is the transaction limit? Transaction limit is 180 crores spread over the 3 financially. In total, you have to see the transaction limit for determining the applicability of fees. What fees is applicable, right? For that purpose, here it is exceeding 100 crores, but not exceeding 300 crores. So fees is applicable at the of rupee 5 lakh rupees. If the resident assessee can also make an application to determine its tax liability. In case the transaction value exceeds 100 crores, right? So he can make the application before the advance ruling, and the applicable fees, whatever the fees is applicable for authority for advance ruling, same fees is relevant for bar also as of now. Right? This is about the series 1 MTP. Now, before moving to series 2 MTP, I would let me check the queries. Okay. Right. Sumit, you are preparing well. Best wishes for your exams. You will definitely going to do very well in this. More queries. Okay. Let me go through some series 2. Series 2 may let me take 2 questions I want to take before proceeding for those 2 questions. Krishna Avatar asked me to explain the details of MCQ 10 and MCQ 14. Let me take those MCQs first, then we will take the case scenarios, right? Those are also based on the new provisions, 194Q based provision, this MCQ 10. Ratan, let me go take you to that MCQ itself. MCQ 10 is before you, or you also having the copy of that MTP. This MCQ 10, Ratan Motors Limited, Pathankot is Maruti Cars dealer. It's based on section 2061F, 206C1H, and 194Q. You have to check the implications. What provisions will be attracted in on these facts. You have to say it carefully. Ratan Motors Limited, Pathankot is a Maruti car dealer and also runs a service station. The sale of cars of Ratan Motors Limited seller, he is a seller, and for financial 2021 is 8.40 crores. The sale of spare parts for preceding financial, you have to see this turnover. This turnover is 8.4 crores plus from this service station is coming to 80 lakhs. It's coming to 9.2 crores. So 260 is out. Right, not applicable since sale of turnover not exceed 10 crores. Out. Now, ABC Limited. Mrs. ABC Limited dealing in textile manufacturing bought 3 Maruti cars on 18/7, 18/8, 15/12 for rupee 18 lakh, 22 lakhs, 9.5 lakhs. C. Motor cars 206C 1F is attracted on sale of motor cars where the value exceeds 10 lakh rupees and TDS has to be deducted at the rate of 1%, right, at the time of receipt. Here, for the 2 motor cars, the value exceeds 18 lakh and 22 lakhs. No threshold limit. Threshold limit of 10 lakh is there, of course, but on the whole amount, the TDS has to be collected on the whole amount, right? So 18 lakh and 22 lakhs pay, both amounts pay. Here that Ratan Motors has to collect the TCS under section 206C 1F, and 9.5 lakh pay is not required since it doesn't exceed, the value doesn't exceed 10 lakh rupees. On 16/1/22, Messrs. ABC Limited purchased 5 motor cars, more cars, okay? Value 8.9 lakh each, 8.9 lakh. यहाँ पे no value is exceeding. No value of car, 5 car, but 8.9 lakh doesn't exceed the value of each car by 10 lakh rupees. So 206 1F not attracted, but see, 16 January, 194 Q comes into picture. Since it is inserted with effect from 1/7/21, right? And for that purpose, the buyer's turnover, if exceeds 10 crores during the financial year 2021, he is supposed to collect deduct the TDS at the rate 0.1%. If the payments made exceeds 50 lakh rupees, and the amount has to be deducted on the amount exceeding the sum of 50 lakh rupees. So 8.9 lakh this हो गया, and another is 9.5 lakh. उस पे अभी TCS नहीं collect हुआ. 9.5 lakh पे TCS is not collected, but on 40 lakh amount already TCS being collected. If section 194Q clearly says that where TDS provisions of this section would not apply where the TDS has been deducted in any other section, or TCS has been is collected under section 206C other than 206C 1H. So for this 40 lakh amount, so you have a doubt that why we have not included this 40 lakh amount again while computing the TDS under section 194Q. For this, please note, if TCS already deducted, this transaction is liable for TCS collection, then TDS nahi katega. The TDS will not be attracted, right? So 40 lakhs pay, on 40 lakh rupees TCS deducted. Here the TDS has to be collected on what amount? Amount exceeding rupees 50 lakhs. It's coming to, in total it is coming to 54 lakhs. So on 4 lakh rupees, 0.41% say TDS has to be collected under section 194Q. So the correct option for this question is C, where it is clearly mentioned. It mentions that Ratan Motors Limited is required to collect tax at source of rupees 40,000 under section 206C1F, and ABC Limited is required to deduct tax at source of rupees 400. Right? This is the correct answer. Now he has asked a question to explain MCQ number 14. MCQ number 14, basically it is not based on any new provision. Already existing provisions are there, but there is some hidden thing that you have to apply. You have to keep in mind. यहाँ पे क्या लगेगा? Tax liability you have to complete. आपने देखा होगा, you have seen कि AMT is applicable in case of individuals. If that individual is opting for, if that individual claim deduction under section 35AD, deduction under chapter 6A की deduction, and your other than ATP, of course, other than ATP, and claiming deduction under section 10AA, then you have to determine the tax liability as per the normal provisions as well as computed as per AMT. In case of individual, of course, the adjusted total income has to exceed 20 lakh for making it applicable. But here is an individual. He is a senior citizen also. See, he is a senior citizen. We read every line of the question. He is a senior citizen, so eligible for higher basic exemption limit while determining normal provision. AMT लगेगा. AMT is 18.5%. Surcharge is also same. If the total income exceeds 50 lakh, then surcharge applicable होगा. If total income doesn't exceed 50 lakhs, no surcharge is applicable. Here his income doesn't exceed 50 lakh rupees. His income is 45 lakh. He claimed deduction under section 80 IB of rupees 20 lakhs, right? Excluding it, it's coming to 25 lakh. As per the normal provisions, total income is coming, let me show you also. Let me take you to that question itself. Wait. It's on your screen now. Yeah, this question is on your screen now. So he is claiming, guys, in total income is 45 lakhs, right? He is claiming deduction under section 80 IB. The profit from such business is included is 20 lakhs. Okay. Now 45 lakhs. Total income as per normal provision is 25 lakhs. Right? And as per your AMT calculations, AMT adjusted total income is 45 lakhs. Okay? Both ways you have to compute the tax liability. Applying the higher basic exemption limit, this liability, tax liability is coming to 5,82,400. Applying the higher basic exemption limit, right? And 45 lakh pay 18.5%, 4% surcharge. It is coming to 8,65,800, right? So your correct answer is option D. Their answer is option D. All the options are given. Definitely they must be given. You have to choose the correct option. This is the correct option. Since his tax liability as per the AMT provisions exceeds the tax liability computed as per the normal provision, he is liable to pay tax as per AMT provisions, right? These are the two questions I have taken. Now we have some time to take you through the case scenarios at least. The first case scenario, very based on the new things, I should take it. Second case scenario is already on the existing provisions, right? But some important things which you can remember while doing this case scenario, at least your certain provisions are being revised. I will take you this case scenario first, case scenario 1 first. What is case scenario? This case scenario law, Supreme Court decision in case of Engineering Analysis Center of Excellence. I already told you that section 9 plays a very important role for determining the tax of a non-resident person or a foreign company, right? Or the DTA as well. Section 90 itself says, Section 90 says, what Section 90 says? If the provisions of Income Tax Act are not more beneficial than the DTA, then DTA provisions will be applicable. If DTA is more beneficial, DTA is applicable, right? Main practice, if DTA are beneficial for the assessee, then the provisions, then the things as tax has to be computed as per the DTA, right? In this case, see, it's a very good facts here being given covering your equalization levy to attracting. Flip Inc., a foreign company, a country X company, maintains an online web platform through which it provides end user computer software through an end user license agreement. Okay, MOU Limited, an Indian company, entered into a contract for 5.74 purchasing some software from it, online software from Flip Inc. for paying the sum of 5.7 crore. Software the company is purchasing, online software. There are certain conditions, terms and conditions that the Flip Inc. grants MOU Limited only non-exclusive license to install, use, or display and run the click wrap. It doesn't have any copyright. It doesn't have the right to use the copyright, right? It is just using the software. The company can use the software only on one system, right? There are certain other rights, reserved all rights not expressly granted to MOU in this agreement, end user license agreement, right? The copyright and other intellectual property rights are being protected. Flip Inc. owns the title, copyright, other intellectual property rights in this CWCS, click wrap web-based computer software. All the rights are with the Flip Inc. It is just giving the computer software on one basis for using purpose. Okay, here or the Flip Inc. doesn't have any offices outside country X. This is the information. Some extracts are being given to you based on Article 12 of country India and country X DTA is given to you here. In this you should know how to read the article of the DTA to determine the taxability of certain income. Let me explain to you how we read the articles. Royalties and fees. Extracts are given only. Royalties and FTS arising in a contracting state. Arising in a contracting state and paid to a resident of other contracting state. Resident of other contracting state. Easy example, say from the case scenario we will take that flipping royalty and FTS is whether it's a royalty or not, I don't know. Let's take it, let's assume that it's a royalty, right? Let's assume only that it's classified as a royalty. Let me, later on we will see whether it's classified as royalty or not. Let's assume first to just read how we read the articles, right? How we read the language of the DTAs and just assume it. Royalty and FTS arising in a contracting state. Arising in a contracting state, that is India. Okay? Contracting. And paid to a resident of other contracting. Resident of other contracting state क्या हो गया? Flipping. Flipping है जो country acts कर इसको पे कर रहे हैं तो मे बी टैक्स इन दैट अदर स्टेट. कहाँ टैक्स होगा? इट विल बी टैक्सेबल इन दैट अदर स्टेट. ठीक है? अदर स्टेट मीन्स कंट्री एक्ट्स में टैक्सेबल होगा. However, such royalties and FTS may also be taxed. हो सकते हैं, it may be taxed in India also, in contracting state also, in which they arise with the source state. India is the source state. Resident state for flipping is country X. Right? India is the source state. So यहाँ पे भी can be taxed in accordance with the laws of that contracting state. But if the recipient is the beneficial owner of the royalties and the tax or charge shall not exceed 10%. Okay? Shall not exceed 10%. Very important point. Make it a note. Note that whatever be the rates are given in the DTA, are inclusive of surcharge and health and education cess. All other things we are able to, it is inclusive of all. If tax has to be computed as applying the DTA provisions, then directly we will compute the royalty पे tax 10%. ठीक है? Whereas अगर आपका royalty पे suppose tax rate assume करो, because it's not 5%, of course. If income tax is more beneficial, the tax rate would be 5%. Then on that you have to check and apply the surcharge also, HEC also. But when you are computing the tax as per the DTA rates, then you have to directly apply that rate and compute the tax. Very important. This is the way you read it. India can also tax it, right? Source country can also tax it. Source country means the income is arising in the India for flipping. So source country must be right as per our thing. But see, this for this purpose, now see that this term, the term royalty as per the this article, they define the royalty means a payment of any kind received as a consideration for use of or right to use any copyright. Okay? Scientific, work, literary, artistic, any kind of right. Industrial, master plan, secret formula, process for information concerning industrial things, commercial, scientific experience, anything. There are many things, designs or models or plant, anything. But copyright, right to use, copyright consideration is to be paid for use of or the right to use of any copyright of principle. यहाँ पे computer software some भी they are not using, or here they are using it for the purpose of right to use any copyright. Okay. So royalty की definition में in our facts of the case scenario, the flipping is not giving any right of copying it. They are reserving all the rights with its own. Only the right to use are given to the MNO Limited, right? So DTA according to it is not taxable. Or furthermore, certain other things are also things. What the Supreme Court is being decided, what the Supreme Court being held in this case is that as per we have to see Income Tax Act also on the DTA alone basis we cannot decide the taxability. The Income Tax Act says कि royalty means consideration inter alia transfer of all or any rights in respect of any copyright, literary, artistic or scientific work के लिए same thing. They are in the DTA as given, same here they are given. Further explanation for being added to include the transfer of all or any rights, includes transfer of all or any right for use or right to use a computer or software. Clearly they are using computer software. Right to use, copying right me, right to use. Agar if you are using the right है आपके पास use का on the computer software, then that consideration will tend to amount to royalty. That consideration will tend to amount to royalty, right? But DTA में only explanation 2 तक DTA are restricted. Explanation 4 thing are not given in the DTA extracts. The High Court also says that when the things are taxable, Apex Court also observed 4 categories of cases. 4 categories of cases where it will not be said that it is not a royalty for use of copyright in the computer software. We cannot say that it is for the use of copyright in the computer software. What are those 4 cases? Important to note here, what are these 4 cases? If the computer software is purchased, you are purchasing a computer software from a directly by an end user, from a foreign and non-resident supplier, so directly purchase कर रहे हो, या फिर you are purchasing from a distributor or a reseller, ठीक है? From if an Indian company, resident Indian company acting as a distributor or reseller purchases computer, that Indian distributor purchasing the computers from the outside entity, foreign entity, then it will not be. If where the distributor happens to be a foreign non-resident vendor, who after purchasing the software, resells the same to a resident Indian distributor. Resale कर रहा है यहाँ पे. मतलब purchasing or sale of computer software will not tend amount to royalty as per the Supreme Court's decision. They have classified the 4 cases. In those 4 cases, it will not be said that that in the High Court said that amount paid by resident Indian end users or distributor to non-resident computer software manufacturer or suppliers as consideration for resale or use of computer software, for resale or use of computer software through end user license agreements is not royalty for the use of copyright of the computer software in the computer software. It's not royalty नहीं करेगा, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे क्लासिफाइड किया this is the provision of section 914 explanation 4, read along with explanation 2 and 4, which deal with royalty not being more beneficial. These are the important. It is taxable, of course it is taxable. If it is a case of Indian, you are purchasing something from another non-resident, from a resident only, okay? Certain TDS has to be deducted, but there are certain circumstances where TDS need not to be deducted. Those you have to see. In 194J also, they are making the reference to explanation 2. They are not giving the reference to explanation 4. There are 2 views on that, whether TDS is attracted or not in those cases. The 2 views are there. But as per the income tax, it is taxable. It is definitely taxable, right? So if DTA nahi hoga, if no DTA exists, in that case, it is taxable as per the income tax act in the hands of non-resident, right? Whether it's for resale, it's for use purpose, then it is taxable. They are saying it. Since which deal with section not being more beneficial to the assessee have no application in the facts of the case. Consequently, consideration paid to non-resident computer software manufacturer or supplier would not be chargeable tax in India, hence no tax is required to be deducted. Okay? The resident individual is not required to deduct tax under section 195 if DTA exists and DTA are on the same lines. Okay? So in the first question relates to this only, whether the MNO Limited in India required to deduct income tax at source on the payment made to flip it. If yes, what amount of income tax is required to be deducted at source on said payment? Since DTA already exists between India and country X, and the term of royalty doesn't include this computer software term as during the explanation 4, it's more beneficial for the flipping. The DTA are more beneficial. MNO, it's not chargeable with tax in its hands. MNO Limited is not required to deduct the tax at source. So the B option is the correct option. I hope I'm able to clear this things to you. DTA impact and the income tax analysis along with the DTA, and how the section 195 attracts. 195 के लिए we have to check whether the sum is chargeable to tax in India or not. Let's go. Second question. It's a very important, tricky one also. Equalization levy. How where this equalization levy term comes into picture here? See, in the facts, equalization levy, when the equalization levy attracts, आपको पता है, you must be knowing that equalization levy comes into effect. That concept of equalization levy was brought by the Finance Act 2016 by inserting section 165. It was earlier only applicable in case of online advertisements, and there the tax has to be deducted. The equalization levy has to be deducted. Now they have expanded the scope of equalization levy by inserting section 165A, not by the Finance Act 21. It was already been inserted by the Finance Act 2020, right? But now they have amended again. They made certain amendments, clarification amendments also in this by the Finance Act 21 to make it more clear on certain aspects. They have made certain amendments in this section. So by virtue of that 165A, what is happening? The e-commerce operator, if receiving any consideration, received or receiving any consideration by an e-commerce operator for supply of e-commerce supply of services made or facilitated on or after 1/4/2020, he has to pay the equalization levy, right? However, this is an amendment. Actually, basically, they have clarified, or this answering this MCQ based on this case scenario. This is important, that the consideration received or receivable for specified services and for e-commerce supply and services would not include the consideration which are already taxable as royalty or FPS. Okay? Under the Income Tax Act, read with detail. उसपे आपको equalization levy नहीं लगता. E-commerce operator is a person who is maintaining or operating a platform or facilitated a non-resident. Okay? E-commerce operator is a non-resident person, right? Who is facilitating, who is providing or supplying e-commerce supply. Online thing is very important. Digital platform is very important to apply equalization levy. आप देखोगे यहाँ पे in this the facts are being modified to make it taxable as per the equalization levy. As per the equalization levy, here the facts of that case law is being very modified. Here what we are saying, online is an e-commerce operator because he is maintaining an online web platform through which it provides end user computer software through an end user agreement. Okay? One click pay, he has to take that software. He is purchasing the software. He is availing. He will purchase. The non-resident Indian is paying the consideration for purchasing that software, right? On that, equalization levy definitely will be attracted. But it is clarified the royalty or FPS which is taxable as per Income Tax Act, read with the DTA, on that equalization levy would not be attracted. Here, is it taxable as per the DTA? It is not, because DTA doesn't contain such definition of is very limited in the DTA. That's why it is not coming into the purview of DTA. It is not taxable since DTA is more beneficial. So this income consideration is not taxable in the hands of flipping. So whether the equalization levy would be attracted or not? Yes. All the conditions are satisfied for levying the equalization levy. He is an e-commerce operator. He is providing the e-commerce supply of services also. And the consideration exceeds the amount of 2 crore. It's 5.7 crores. So flipping has to pay, not deduct. MNO Limited is not required to deduct here. Here the flipping has to pay the equalization levy at the rate 2% of the amount of consideration, right? So this is the correct option. You have to, simultaneously read each and every provision. Equalization levy you also read. You have to read the section 9 provisions. You have to read the income tax provision. You have to read the DTA to determine the tax liability of a non-resident or a foreign company. This is the second part. Now let's take the third question immediately. What is this third question? Would MNO Limited India be required to deduct tax at source on the payment made to flipping if there was no DTA? If DTA exists, then Income Tax Act only will be applicable. As per the Income Tax Act, of course, it is taxable since it is tantamount to royalty, and it is paid by a resident Indian for the purpose of its business, of course. So it is chargeable to tax, and there is it's not taxable as per the 115A. 15A main tax rate is provided in case of royalty, where it is under the, if it is approved by the central government, right? No such agreement is there between MNO Limited and Clipping, so it is not chargeable to tax at the rate 10%. It is chargeable to tax at the rate of rates in force. The TDS has to be deducted at the rates in force. The MNO Limited is required to deduct the TDS on that portion. At the rates in force, it is 40% in case of other income. So 40% of 5.7 crore is the royalty amount. It is exceeding 1 crore. Surcharge is also applicable at the rate of 2% on a foreign company. So it's 40% plus surcharge at the rate 2% plus HEC at the rate 4%. In those years, accordingly, you have to compute the TDS amount, right? So TDS is required to be deducted. TDS is required to be deducted by the MNO Limited on this amount. Of rupee 2 crore 41 lakh 86,240. Then fourth one is again, is equalization levy attracted in respect of the consideration received by flipping country acts from MNO Limited? There is no DTA between India and country acts. See, DTA नहीं हुआ, income tax में already that amount is taxes being paid. Already taxable हो गया, right? From that we already read कि it is taxable as per the Income Tax Act, then equalization levy would not be attracted. So in this case, equalization levy would not be attracted. This is all about the case scenario 1. Here we have seen the Supreme Court case law. We have seen royalty definition as per the Income Tax Act. We have seen the equalization levy implications, right? This is based on these things. Revise all the things. Read your study material. Read the amendments are given in the bold and italics fonts. This is a revision time for May exams. Students, revise the amendments, the amendment portion, specifically the amendment portions again and again, because on that basis questions can be asked. Definitely question can be asked. And read your if you have prepared your summary notes, read those notes very carefully. Or apart from this, in case of your any doubt relating to any other MCQ or the descriptive portion, actually, I think we do not have the time to take your case scenario 2. It is simply, I can tell you, it is based on what provision? It is based on section 133A, power to survey, and section your 133B, power to collect information. This whole case scenario is based on this, that when the income tax authority or the assessing, or when the assessing officer can enter into the premises for conducting the survey, what are their powers, what are the permissible acts he can do it, and whose permission he is required to enter, and whose permission he can retain the books or in his custody. This is based on that thing. And power to collect information, again, when he can enter into the businesses. Here it is basically 133A says for the purpose of survey. For the purpose of survey, the assessing officer, the income tax authority, not assessing officer, the income tax authority can enter into the premises when the place is open for the conduct of business, right? And in case of TDS, if they are doing the survey for the purpose of verification of TDS or TCS, they can enter into on or after your sunrise, but before sunset. There is a difference, the distinction. TDS के TCS verification के purpose के लिए, and for your doing your survey, there is a distinction when they can enter into, and the permission of the higher authorities are also required for entering into the for doing the survey, for entering into the premises. That authorities, of course, is very important to remember. Make it a chart key how to remember what is the hierarchy of the authorities, whose approval is required. When you have a chart, now you will able to understand that it's starting with inspector of income tax officers, the income tax officer, then your assistant commissioner, assistant director. So the hierarchy is starting the deputy director, deputy commissioner, commissioner or director are the main things. उसमें आपका एक things words are being added like assistant commissioner or your assistant director, then deputy commissioner, deputy director, then joint commissioner, joint director, then your additional commissioner, additional director, then director and commissioner, then your principal commissioner or principal director, then director general, then chief commissioner, then principal director general, principal chief commissioner. उसके beyond is your CBDT. So ये थोड़ा सा hierarchy that you have to remember. ठीक है, इसको याद करने के लिए इसका क्या बात क्या होगा, when you read those provisions ना आपको बार बार you need not to go forget about it. What is the authority to memorize these things is really very difficult, I understand, but you have to make it a point key how to remember these things. Simple commissioner and director are there. These were the two things. उसमें they are prefixing the certain terms like assistant, joint, deputy, then your principal commissioner, then your principal chief commissioner, then your director general. तो इस तरीके से they are made the hierarchies. So इस purpose के लिए certain higher authorities approval is required for the purpose of conducting the survey, for entering into the business premises. But in case of if you are going for collecting the information, the income tax authority is not that of higher level and no such approval is required. This is based on that thing. And in case if you want to impound or retain the books, there is a limit of 15 days. If the limit, in that case also you have to take the approval of commissioner or other authorities. So this is the case scenario based on these aspects, these provisions. In case if you still have some doubt, you can raise a query through mobile app, ask your query portal, or through our mail ID, that is dt-final@ica.in. There you can raise these queries. Let me see any other thing which I can explain you, because already I have covered section portion MCQ 10, 14 I already covered. MCQ 10, this is more important thing I already covered. Next is, this is based on the existing provision of section 9, that in case of resident individual giving to a non-resident any sum of money, then it is chargeable to tax in the hands of non-resident, while in case of if it is gifting in any kind, that will not be chargeable to tax. It is based on that provision. Now MCQ 13 is based on 115 BAC. It's very simple. You have to remember what are the deductions or exemptions will be available while computing the total income as per section 115 BAC. Okay, and this is again on 35 AD, specified business carry forward and set off, that you must be knowing ki, the loss of a specified business can be set off from other specified businesses. But like in case of hotel, if it's a 3-star hotel, it was commenced its business before 1 April 2010. It is of course a specified business but not eligible for deduction in section 35 AD. Against that profit, the profit of that business, the losses of a specified business, like in this example, the hotel commenced its activities on 1/4/2012. So it's a specified business which is eligible for deduction under section 35 AD. The loss of this specified business can be set off against the loss of other specified business. This is based on that 35 AD provisions, right? Let me see if I have received some queries. If we have less time in exam, then can writing provision only fetch marks? See, first try to do properly. आप properly कीजिए, जितना आपको लगता है कि some आप क्या छोड़ोगे, you are going to leave those portions ना which you find difficult. पहले तो आपको pick those portions where you are comfortable, you know very well, you are doing it. At the end you will find कि नहीं मेरे पास टाइम ही नहीं, इतना कम टाइम है, तो आप कोड करिए, सेक्शन ऑफ प्रोविजन कोड करिए, देखिए कि what is the requirement of the question. Do you really require to write the provisions or apply it? If it is based on the requirement, you have to see, right? It is not कि आपने provision लिख दिया then you will get the mark. It is not on that basis. It is based on the requirement of the question. अगर requirement is such कि वहाँ पे writing the provision will suffice, then it is fine. अगर वहां पे रिक्वायरमेंट है कि यू हैव टू अप्लाई इट इटसेल्फ, 2 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन है हार्डली और 3 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन है, वहां पे सिर्फ आपको अगर आप लिख दो कि अमाउंट ऑफ टीडीएस इतना कटना है, दैट अमाउंट हैज टू बी डिडक्टेड, दैट अमाउंट इज मेकिंग डिफरेंस. So instead of writing or the provision, repeating the things, you try to write the application of that provision, right? So in that case, rates in force. Rates in force is not the slab rates. Rates in force are the part 2 TDS rates. आप देखो, आप must read. I think you should read the Bayer Acts. Try to read from the Bayer Acts also. Bayer Acts make the last में, the first schedule, part 2 contains the rates of TDS on certain sections or related to certain sections. So those are considered rates in force, right? Or rates in force, the definition is there in the act also. I will tell you that definition properly. What is that definition? Okay, wait. Here they are saying rates in force basically specifying in relation to assessment of financial means for the purpose of calculating income tax under the first proviso. It's a very complicated thing, but rates in force generally given there in the Finance Act. Also covering certain rates, advanced tax rates are given in the Finance Act 2015A, B, BB, BB, triple B. There are certain things, or the rates in force of income is specified in this behalf in the Finance Act of the relevant year, whichever is applicable. Certain rates are given at the in the Finance Act in the schedule. Those rates are considered rates in force basically, not the slab. The slab rates are the basic exemption limit rates which are applicable for individuals or HUF or AOP or BOI. Those are different. And rates in force for the purpose of deducting TDS, they have to go to the first schedule. You have to go to the first schedule, right? And assessee has the option to opt for rates which is more beneficial to him, DTA or the ITI. Yeah, since DTA, if the DTAs are more beneficial, then you will have to pay, you will definitely pay tax as the DTA, right? But certain things like in case of after section 90 में, it's an important portion of this section, that in case of a foreign company's tax rate is 40%, right? And domestic companies' tax rates are 30%, 25%, or as the case may be, they are not considered as less favorable. So tax rate for foreign companies के लिए आपका यही लगेगा, that 40% वाला tax rate, not as applicable for the domestic company. तो DTA का आपको DTA rates के according only you have to pay the tax. It is a provision itself in the section 90, whichever is more beneficial, you will take that benefit. For TCS and motor car, separate sale has to be taken for 10 lakhs limit. Separate individual sale of motor car has to be seen. Yeah, 10 lakh is for the individual rates. So I have resolved almost all the queries. In case if you have any other query, you can definitely ask your query through the Ask Your Query portal on US mobile app or the dtfinal@ica.in. This is all about our session. I hope that you find this session useful in revising certain provisions, certain concepts. I must say it's a time to perform. And again, we'll repeat you, take care of your health, right? Take proper rest, take proper sleep time, revise the things, and don't get panic during the exams time. Be relaxed, calmly. Whatever you do, you will do your best at that time. So be calm, be relaxed, don't take any stress. Revise the things properly. You will do well if you are prepared well, right? This is all about. And thank you, students. Thank you very much, and best wishes for you for your examination. Thank you so much.